We're back with retired Marine Corps General Jim Jones, who is a former NATO military commander in Europe and served as President Obama's national security advisor. Welcome.
Thank you, Charlie. Good to be with you.
So what should the president that you serve do now in Ukraine?
Well, I think a lot of the things that are happening between not only the United States bilaterally with Russia, but also the international community is pretty much what needs to be done. I think you don't want to knee-jerk and overreact.
What would you call knee-jerking and overreacting?
Well, a lot of the things that we're talking about, in terms of some of the tit-for-tat gestures that only tend to exacerbate the situation. This is a strategic question, I think, that has long-term strategic consequences, and it's more about economies and about the future of the region than it is about troop displacements right now.
Okay, I want to talk about the economy, but one more question about force. I mean, is the United States and is NATO doing anything because of this crisis that's different from its normal rotation?
Well, NATO is not at the centerpiece of this, but NATO is participating along with the international community, with the UN, the EU, the OSCE, and doing the things that it can do and using the instruments that it has. For instance, the NATO Ukraine Council, the NATO Russia Council is in full gear, and they are doing things with regard to military exercises that are appropriate and not inflammatory. But they also, NATO needs to reassure its friends and allies to the east that we are one in this. 28 countries are one unit, and the United States is leading it.
What could cause this thing to get out of control? So the one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and all of a sudden we're looking at a hot Cold War.
I think precipitous moves that preclude people from being able to step back from it, and you get to the point where you get boxed in. I think this is a point right now where Mr. Putin has to understand that if he doesn't figure a way to get out of this, that the long-term consequences for him and for Russia could have serious consequences in terms of the economic relationships and the isolation of Russia with regard to Europe.
Put in the energy equation because of what impact that could have.
Well, 4 countries, interestingly enough, yesterday 4 countries sent letters to Speaker Boehner and I think the majority leader in the Senate. That's Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Slovakia, asking the United States to accelerate its shipments of energy to Eastern Europe in particular. This just underscores the fact that in a long-term and maybe even mid-term scenario, our energy potential has the capacity of lowering the dependence of Europe on Russian energy, and therefore affecting the economic viability of Russia for a long term.
Is what's happening self-evidence of the fact that the Russian reset did not work?
Well, the Russian reset was predicated on the goodwill of the President of Russia and the President of the United States. And for the first couple of years, we had that. And there are elements of the reset that had they been allowed to continue, would have mitigated against what's happening right now. Unfortunately, a key player changed. We have a new president in Russia for whom the reset is not obviously as important.
General Jones, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in a moment.